the Stafford Motor Speedway, getting ready for another night of racing with our 5 weekly divisions, plus the Lincoln Tech Open 80s with the Open Modifieds, and more incentive to do well here on Friday night for those teams.
In case you missed it, the top 2 finishers from the Lincoln Tech Open 80 will be the front row for the Napa Fall Final, the 50th running of the Fall Classic. And, well, you still have to qualify during that event.
Correct.
You can't just lollygag around and do nothing during the heat race. You still got to qualify in, but once you do, you get that front row. And we have a great list of drivers slated for this event this Friday. Woody Pitkat, our most recent winner. He's back at it again. Glenn Reen, former winner this year. Eric Goodale, they'll be competing. Ronnie Williams, Teddy Hodgson. Mike Christopher Jr. is back in the Open Modifieds this year. First time back since the Sizzler. A lot of good cars. You can say half the field at least have a chance of winning.
And do you call George Bissett Jr. a sleeper in that division?
Yes. Maybe. I don't know if he's a sleeper anymore after how he did last race. I mean, he was really good the last event when he was battling Woody Pitkat for the win. Either way, you do have to keep an eye on that one car. He has adapted to the Open Modifieds really quickly. If you're not quite convinced about him yet, then yes, he's a sleeper. But after how he was last time, it wouldn't be a surprise for him to compete for the win again.
Been competing a win practically in everything that he has driven here at the Speedway, including his SK Modified debut 2 weeks ago. Speaking of the SK Modifieds, what a show last Friday night here with a new winner for the 2023 season in Napa Victory Lane.
A much-needed win at that for David Arute. His first victory of the season, as you mentioned, led most of the laps, had a little bit of a challenge from Dylan Kopech during the event, but once Arute got the lead back, he pulled away. There's a lot of battles from second on back. I mean, they were racing hard back there. You saw Kopech battling up there. Pulio, Flannery got his best career finish with a third. Kopech, as I mentioned, a best career finish of second. So a lot of newer names up there in the front on a more weekly basis. Todd Owen, the point leader, 15th to 4th in that event. So he got what he needed to do, considering he was starting so deep in the field. Jimmy Blewett, quiet with a 6th-place run, lost a couple positions in the points, but it's still pretty tight up there in the standings.
16 points between the top 2 heading into this Friday night. In the late models, after the first lap incident that wiped out a lot of good contenders, a great race during that long green flag run to end it.
Yeah, Kevin Gambacorta comes home with the win. From 3 seconds back with 20 laps to go, no caution to help him bunch up the field. He got up to Bobby Stark III and passed Bobby Stark III at the end with a couple laps to go. 3rd win of the year for Gambacorta. He kind of like Tom Fern when he has a bad week, because remember the week before he broke the sway bar, he comes back and does really well. So Gambacorta holds on to his point lead, extends it by a bit. Tom Fern, a podium run, but I got to give a shout out to Bobby Stark III. By far his best run of the year. They've struggled all season long since they moved back up to the late models, but they figured something out. We'll see if they can keep that going forward.
And the SK Light Modifieds, and perhaps the feel-good story of the year, judging by the reaction below us in the announcer's tower in the grandstand, Megan Fuller getting her first SK Light win with a move to take the race lead with 2 laps to go.
Got by Tyler Alkis there in the last few laps and held off George Bissett Jr. and Alex Pearl, a couple of heavy hitters in that division. Yeah, the crowd was nuts. I mean, it was amazing. It shows you how popular Megan is here at Stafford, and a lot of people were very happy to see her get the win. And I'm sure Megan was relieved to get that first victory out of the way. Rick Fuller was very ecstatic afterwards as well. Just a very popular win. It kind of reminded me of Christopher's win last year in the TC13 shootout. Meg did a great job, a great bounce back after the previous week. Came back, got victory lane, and we'll see if now that the first one's out of the way, more will come a little bit easier. But in the big picture, Bryce Sullivan was a bit quiet, but he still got top 10.
Right,
he wasn't up there battling for the win every week like we had been used to seeing him. And, well, he finished 8th, I believe. He was there, but just not quite making the forward progress we normally see. Either way, a clean top 10 run. He still has a pretty sizable point lead.
48 points going into this week. Talking about the battle for the lead for a moment, Megan was out front at the checkered, but she was holding off some of the best in the division. What, top 6 within a half a second?
Yeah, you got Alkis, you got Pearl, Bissett, Tyler Berry, Tyler Chapman. I mean, they've all won races, so Bissett has won a couple times this year. Chapman's won 3 times if you include the non-points race. Barry is the defending champion and won once this year. Alka's got a win last year. Pearl looking for that first win, but he's always a contender. It's not easy in that division. And we say it time and time again. Even though we haven't had 15 different winners this year, we still have 15 drivers that have a shot to win any given week. And Meg Fuller got it done last Friday for her first.
In the limited late models, they had their 5th consecutive winner and a driver that we've been waiting for to reach Napa Victory Lane this year and last year's champion.
Rich Hammond. got past Adrian Paradise to third in the last 2 laps. Great battle.
It was.
Really good battle between these two drivers. Just really good racecraft by those two guys. I know Paradise wanted to get that first limited late model win, came so close. That's his second runner-up finish, but again, like David Arute, Rich Hammond needed that win. They've been struggling with the car. I say struggle, but he's been a top 5 car, but they have higher expectations after how they were last year. But they did a great job. They were up there from the start, got past Paradise, got the first win out of the way. We'll see if they can get that setup consistent every week and continue the battle for the win.
Point leaders fairly quiet, never really challenged for the win, but we're racing among the top 5 in Clement and Lavoie.
Yeah, Clement got on the podium. Lavoie got 4th. Cormier finished 5th despite engine problems. So despite the issues, they still got top 5 runs. So not much has changed in the points picture. Lavoie still has the point lead, but he can't quite relax yet, especially after what happened last year, and there's still a lot of races to go.
Looking for his 3rd championship here at the Speedway. Talking about Jeremy Lavoie, has a 14-point cushion coming into this Friday. And in the street stocks, another come-from-behind win for Travis Hydar, an eventful 20 laps, to say the least.
Eventful is an understatement. There was a lot that went on. Travis Hydar on lap 1, I think it was, got caught up in an incident in turn 3, fell to the back, and just like earlier this year when he got caught up in that big pileup on the backstretch, made his way back through the field, took the lead from Clemens, who gets his best career run of 2nd place, and gets the win. Hydar has 4 wins on the year now. Waterman has 6, but Waterman had a bit of a rough night, got black flagged earlier in the race after contact in turn 1 started a pileup. That eventually involved Travis Downey and took Downey out of the race. And then it seemed like the car just wasn't the same for one reason or another, and he had to settle for a finish in the back half of the top 10. So the points picture has changed a lot since last Friday. Travis Hydar got the momentum. Again, I mentioned last week, a little more consistency than Waterman, and that's really important overall.
Hydar has the momentum and the point lead by 2 points.
It's going to be fun in these last month and a half to see which one of these drivers have the edge on a weekly basis. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes back and forth. One night it's Waterman, one night it's Hydar going up ahead. It's going to be fun. We'll see how the battle goes throughout the season.
And it all continues this Friday night here at the Stafford Motor Speedway for all 5 of our weekly divisions, plus the return of the Open Modifieds and the Lincoln Tech Open 80. All the action gets underway at 6 o'clock here at the Speedway. And if you can't make it, tune us in on Flow Racing.